programs and deciding your majors. There are so many aspects to this entire process, and the Teen Talks would help break it down. So I started calling people from different spheres of life, like professionals from different fields like law, architecture, finance, sales and marketing, entrepreneurship, and many more, all the way to people who are doing something in their further studies, like the bachelor's degree or a PhD. And I have had guest speakers from institutes like Stanford, Johns Hopkins University, Carnegie Mellon, Ashoka University, and more. So today we will be having Alekhya Bhat as our next speaker. She's a sophomore at Wellesley College in the US, and she is majoring in international relations and political science with a minor in English. She studied in 8 different schools in her life, and she did high school at Greenwood High. She did 9th and 10th in the IGCSE board and 11th and 12th in the IB board. I think because of shifting schools all the time, Alekhya must have been like an outgoing person, and she's done many extracurriculars, like she's done an internship, she's done summer programs. She also participated in the Model UN and founded No More Bulimia, which is an organization that aims at combating bullying and raising awareness about eating disorders and also spreading body positivity. On top of that, she published 2 books as a teenager. So today we will learn about her high school experience and what she did to prepare for college, her majors and how she decided her majors, the entire process of applications in the US, and also how she founded No More Bulimia, and an inside look at how a teenager published 2 books. So everybody, please keep your microphones muted, but you may switch on your cameras because we would love to see you. Any questions that you have, you can put in the chat box, and we will also be having a Q&A session towards the end. So without any further delay, let's begin. I'll hand it over to you, Alekhya.
Thank you, Radhika, for that wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. It is wonderful to be here today, and I really do hope that I can calm some of the nerves that I'm sure most people are having. I know the college process is all over the place. I remember being so stressed out about what to do when, and how many extracurriculars should I be doing, and when should I start my essays. So hopefully this provides some realistic insight on the failures and successes that you can expect or for your kids to have during the course of their high school experience. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, give me 1 second. Alrighty, I'm going to present now. Okay, so as Radhika already introduced, my name is Alekhya Bhat, and I'm a sophomore, which is a second-year student at Wellesley College. Just to give you some background about Wellesley College, it is a top 3 liberal arts school located in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and I will be explaining what the difference is between a liberal arts school is and a regular university a little later. It is around 50 plus. It is around 15 minutes away from Boston, which is great. I'm an international relations major at Wellesley with a minor. So this is international relations - political science with a minor in English. And I hope to also do a concentration in entrepreneurship at MIT, where we are cross-registered. So just some insight, Wellesley and MIT have a sister program. So I will be taking classes there as well. During this talk today, I'll run through my high school experience, extracurricular activities, essays and writing, picking a college, and more, as well as giving you guys, towards the end, if your kids are interested, a little peek at life in college and what that looks like. So I'm going to start off with high school, where I think, I might not cover all the bases, but Radhika has some great questions, I think, prepped. And if any of you have any questions that I might have missed out on, please just put it in the chat. So I did the IGCSE in 9th and 10th and the IB in 11th and 12th, as Radhika mentioned earlier. In IGCSE, I took English language, English literature, biology, chemistry, physics, international math, French, history, and computer science. And in IB, I took English HL, history HL, and biology HL, chemistry SL, math SL, and Spanish ab initio SLs, which I know is a kind of crazy combination. Nobody else in my grade had the same combination, but I was deeply confused about what I wanted to do until very recently. So if if anybody doesn't know what they're doing and they're in 10th or even 11th, or in my case, even all up till first semester of college, which is where I really began to figure out what I wanted to do, that is okay. So I took the PSAT in 11th grade and I took the SAT twice and prepped by going to Reviser, which is this SAT tutoring place. And I started in the 10th to 11th grade summer. I also used Khan Academy, which was a really, really helpful resource to me. I would strongly recommend using Khan Academy. Sal Khan is a genius. And one thing I wish I had known before taking the SAT or while taking the SAT is the concept of superscoring. So I'm not sure how many of you have heard of this before, but essentially most colleges, if not like 9 out of 10 colleges, don't look at one score. If you've taken the SAT twice, they're going to look at your cumulative superscore, which means they will be looking at your highest math score and your highest English score and putting those together. So for instance, if you've gotten a 750 in English and a 770 in math the first time, and the second time you got a 780 in English and a 720 in math, they will be looking at the 770 you got in math and the 780 you got in English, and that will be your combined score. So your score will be a 1550 and not what you got initially, which I think is something that would have eased a lot of my tensions, and genuinely 9 out of 10 schools really do this, and it's very few schools that don't. Not to mention that most schools are actually going test optional now. So that might just be handy insight for anyone that needs it.
Yeah, like when I learned about super scoring, it was a great idea. Like it really eases off so much stress. Like you only have one shot to do the SAT and nail it. But this time, it helps you because it's like the best of both worlds. So also, Alekhya, like in 9th and 10th, which is one unit, and 11th and 12th, which is another singular unit, how did you decide what to drop? Like, I see that you have done all sciences and English is compulsory and you have math there, but how exactly did you decide what to drop and what to take?
So I kind of let what I was good at and what I was passionate about really guide me to figure out what I wanted to do in IB. So in IG, I wanted to be as flexible as possible, which is why I took all 3 sciences plus computer science to really figure out, because at that point in my life, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do and what I was heading into. But very quickly, I realized that I had a very strong affinity towards English, language and literature, things like history, but I was also very good at biology. Not so good at chemistry, but very, very good at biology. So this kind of threw me into a dilemma because I was like, do I go the artsy humanities route and pick English and history and the relatively deemed unorthodox path, or do I stick to what is tried and tested and known and very traditional with like medicine or something? So because of that dilemma, I ended up taking in IB English and history, which was, mostly humanities oriented, but also took biology HL and chemistry SL to keep that door open for me as well, because I wasn't sure up till I just knew I was terrible at physics. Passable at computer science, and French I was okay, but I realized I did not want to have to do the level of French that IB SL French is, and instead I started off with Spanish, and math is compulsory even in IB. So I left that window open, and again, through the course of 11th grade, I learned that biology and chemistry, I mean, while they were fascinating, was not something that I necessarily wanted to go into. So for college, I ended up going entirely humanities oriented. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I see, like you really let your strengths guide you. in this whole
Absolutely.
subject choice. And also, could you explain what ab initio is and HL and SL's full form?
Oh, of course, yeah. So HL is higher level and SL is standard level. So in the IB, you have to take at least 3 HLs and 3 SLs. Now, for the languages at Greenwood, for instance, they don't, so I'm not sure about other schools, but at Greenwood in particular, they don't offer anything higher than a standard level language. So you cannot take French HL or Spanish HL. You can only take it as an SL subject. Now, also, they have an IB has another thing called ab initio, which is kind of like a beginner level. So in 10th grade, say you finished off French like me, you did well enough in French, but you're not sure you're strong enough at the language to be able to do things like analyze French poetry, which is something that you would need to do in SL. And say you don't know what to do. In this case, you pick something like Spanish ab initio, where you start from the basics. And when I say from the basics, I mean you start off with how to pronounce each letter of the alphabet on your first day of class. So it's kind of just, it's a relatively more relaxed, actually it's deceptively relaxing in the beginning and then accelerates a little fast, but it starts off where everybody is at base 0. So you cannot take Spanish ab initio if you've already done Spanish in the past. You cannot take French ab initio if you've already done French in the past, so on and so forth. So everybody here is a beginner.
Okay, yeah. So you can really take it like initial. So it's like the initial stages of learning a language.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Okay, and also there's a little bit of a debate towards the PSAT. Like from people I know, some people say that it's completely useless and just don't waste your time on it. If you want to do something, just do the SAT, just start preparing for the SAT. So what do you think about the PSAT? Do you recommend it?
Okay, again, I have split opinions on this as well. I took it in 11th grade, but the thing that you need to remember is it's not going to qualify you for the merit scholarship, which is what most people gun for, which is I think $2,000 to $2,500 off in a college scholarship, if I'm not mistaken. But here's the thing, that only happens if you get a 1520 out of 1520. So that's a full score on the PSAT. So unless you get that score, it's kind of hard, but at the same time, it is a really good preparatory SAT for somebody to kind of figure out what the environment is like. So even if you take practice tests at home that are timed, being in a setting where you're in this large room, writing it down, getting the papers, having them literally snatched away when you're done, when the time is up, whether you're done or not, they're not going to care. That kind of environment is definitely something that could help somebody mentally prepare for what the SAT is going to look like. So if you think that that mental preparation is something that you would need, or if you think that it's useful for you to get an idea of what standardized testing looks like, I would recommend it. But if you're only like gunning for the merit scholarship, you have to be really, really prepared before the PSAT and prepared enough to get a full score. And that's just round 1. They sift out after that too. You have a second round, and then it's only the finalists that get that scholarship. So if that's what you're gunning for, realistically, like look long and hard if you are prepared enough. But if you want that environment to figure out what it's like, absolutely.
Okay, that really cleared things up for me because some people were just like, don't do it. It's just a waste of time, but it's good. It is a practice, like it's called preliminary SAT. So it does give you a sort of look into what the SAT would look like. And
absolutely.
Also, there's this thing called there's some financial aid program, right? Something like this, like I forgot its name, but I think you can also apply for financial aid from that, like FAS or something.
FAFSA?
Yeah, FAFSA.
So that's something that we can talk about during the applying to college process, but that's actually specifically for US citizens, if I'm not mistaken, where you can apply for financial aid or FAFSA if you are a US citizen applying to college in America. That has nothing to do with the PSAT.
Okay, so it's more related to financial aid, but
Yeah,
the PSAT.
Yeah, that's entirely a common app